we passed a law which was discouraging homosexuality here. Then Mr. Biden removed us from the AGOA list. He chased us. That was one. Number two, the World Bank stopped giving us loans. But our economy grew by 6%.
Yes, now you are a good person. To those who said you are a bad person. Why? Because your economy is growing without their assistance. What they want to do is to come near to you in order to destroy what you are doing. Once upon a time, the former president of Mozambique, Samora Moises Machel, said, if one day you hear the Europeans praise me, know that I have betrayed you. So this message must go to all Africans, that no one who is your competitor will praise you. The day they praise you, understand there's something wrong you have done. Kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters here in the continent, and those who are in the diaspora, first of all, let me salute you in the name of Pan-Africanism and take this opportunity to welcome you at this moment where we are going to have a small conversation about some stories in the continent of Africa, about good news from our mother continent, Africa. So today, I would like to concentrate on the issue of developing without external aid. How we can develop without external aid, how we can achieve without assistance. Also, to touch the issue of integration, as you heard from President Museveni talking about integration, because to grow economy without external support, we can also focus on integration, how we can do business among ourselves. Also, the issue of governance systems in Africa. How can our governance systems become the catalyst for us to grow our economy without depending on others. Let us now start with the issue of growing economy without external support. As you heard at the beginning, Uganda, when it passed the law that was controversial to Western power, Uganda was removed from AGOA, and also loans was cut by IMF and World Bank. European countries didn't supply their contribution. They have, in Africa, let me, before moving too far, touch this issue. We have some people who are calling themselves somewhere there outside development partners. These people are helping Africans. But as Africans, we must know that these people who are calling themselves development partners, these are people who are trying to make sure that Africans, we are not going to be independent. We need to wake up. Africans, we have been taught maybe in schools to feel that we need someone from outside there to help us. So we have these people outside there. They have NGOs, they have many things, companies. They call themselves development partners. These people are supplying money. These people are supplying assistance to us. What they are doing is to make us feel that even in your budgets, you find that in your budgets, many of African countries' budget, there's something called development partners, money. So we don't have those money, but there's some people who are finding money there outside and giving us money. Those people are keeping Africans dependent. And as Africans, if it is possible, let us say we don't need these people. These people are destroying our minds. We have been made to think that there's someone who will give some money. Yes, it is paining to cut aid. It is paining to speak like this. But let us as Africans say enough is enough. If those countries can survive without money from Africa, why don't we survive through their money? We have to find the way how we can generate our own money, our own incomes. We have possibility to generate our own incomes. In schools, we have been made to think that we cannot develop without assistance. We cannot develop without loans. Even in businesses, you see that if you want to grow your businesses, you need to, maybe if you reach a certain place, you have to go to bank or financial institutions to take loans. But why don't they teach us how we can serve in order to reach some amounts, how we can mobilize our own money? They don't teach us like that. So if we start mobilizing, they will come, they try to give us bad name, Africans, they know nothing, something like that. But they're teaching us to go and take loans. If you want to build good road, you have to go to maybe somewhere to take money, something like that. And if you deny, they cut supply of equipment. They will say, we are not going to sell maybe excavators, we are not going to. So they have made Africans in such a way. So what we need to understand that as Africans, if we can decide to develop without aid, it is possible. If Uganda has survived to develop or to grow its economy by 6% without loan, without external support, why not Rwanda? Why not Burkina Faso? Why not Senegal? Why not Nigeria? If Uganda can afford to grow its economy by 6%, why not Mozambique? Why not Mozambique? It is possible. It is possible. But we have been made to think that we cannot develop without support. And these things are happening to the issue of governance systems. Let us move to the issue of governance systems to relate with what I'm saying here. In our governance systems, we have given a tool, a destroyer called democracy. You know that one of the pillars of democracy is multipartism, that you need to have political parties. And these political parties are being sponsored by those who are calling themselves development partners. So they sponsor, maybe we are 100 people, so we have stance, we say we want to add value to our resources. So those development partners, they sponsor among some of us, among of this group of 100 people, maybe 20 people, to form their political parties. And that political parties will come with ideology of exporting resources. Here, 100 before, without being divided, or before being divided, we have been saying we want to add value to our natural resources. Then, among of us, some of us were sponsored to come up with ideology. And of course, they taught that sometimes they have been taken to school, to universities. They have been sponsored, getting scholarship to be trained, to come and to speak with us. They speak very, very loudly, and they construct points very nice that, if you can export resources, you can get a lot of money. So they come with good ideas. But behind of that ideas, there are some Western interest. So they divide us. So if they divide us, we remain few. And among of us also, they sponsor another political party. We have been divided. So if we are 100, we found that we remain 50, 20 go somewhere in another political party, and maybe 30 in another political party. So we are not speaking one language. We were one, but right now we are almost 3 parts. So we are not speaking the same languages. You see? So they are so powerful. They give money to these political parties. So if the one who is stance is going against their desire, they will become weak automatically. So they give these people few power. And then they learn things called elections. They sponsor. They come and check, observer. They call themselves observer. You see, they sponsoring political parties. Then they come as observers to observe how this election is going. And if you win, someone who is have different ideology with their interest, they will say this election is not good. This election was stolen. This election was not fair and fair, open and fair. They will come like that. Then through that, they divide people. And sometimes you find that Africans, we become divided. So when we become divided, we cannot speak with one voice. When we cannot speak with one voice, we cannot learn our own affairs. So at the end of the day, we find that we destroy our economies. So to raise our economies, we need support, and that's where they jump in. They come again to say, I want to help you to raise your economy. So, but to raise your economy, you have to offer this and this. You have to offer that and that. And that's what is happening. And that's why I'm saying this when I was talking about how we can learn our economy without depending on the others. But there are some environment that are forcing Africans into this situation. It doesn't mean that Africans, they want, or we Africans, we want to be sponsored. No, we don't want to be sponsored. But they have given us tools called democracy that is dividing us until this tool bring us into division. And if we are divided, there's those who will destroy our infrastructures, our economy, sabotage are there. So at the end of the day, we cannot succeed. Why? Because of division. And that's why in some countries, all of these countries that have been developed, look China, they are not democratic countries. Even America itself is not democratic. America, when America says he wants something from Libya, America is going to take without asking anyone, without asking permission from anyone. So even if you come to UK, it is not democratic. There's no election of king or queen. How can you say that is democratic country if the king or the queen is the one who is ruling until his death? So you see, go to Malaysia, go to Indonesia. That's not democracy, but democracy is in Africa. And now we are poor. I don't mean that democracy is bad. No. What I want to say is that we need Africa's democracy or Africa's governance system, not democracy that has been franchised outside there. We need our own governance systems that can fit with our people, with our culture, with our lifestyles, not Western democracy. You know, if democracy that we have, look, for instance, in America, they have only 2 political parties. Even in UK, I think, they have only 2 political parties. But if you come to Africa, you find 40 political parties. What are they doing? For all of those, for what? 40 political parties in Africa. You find a smaller country, 40 political parties. And all these are running elections. They are running campaigns. They spend a lot of money. And that's why one day I said, we have to pause these elections for maybe 10 years. Those money that were put into election, because during election, you know, people are spending a lot of money. We can take those money to hospitals to say this amount of money are going to improve hospitals only in this country or in country A, to make sure that we are going to have good hospitals or schools, that our children are going to have best schools, instead of taking those money, giving money, trying to rob people, trying to use a lot of things. People are fighting in the street because of elections. Let us invest those money in industries. Maybe you can say, let us use this money for election into industries. Let us having a government that can supply services to Africans. It is possible. It is possible. So, kings and queens, ladies and gentlemen, we need our own governance system in order for us to have our economy that will not depend on others. Also, on the issue of integration, we know that integration is a critical issue in Africa because of division. Because of those political parties that I said that have been, they produce presidents and leaders who are not interested with integration. These leaders are interested with elections. They want power, they acquire power, but they're not interested with integration. So I think the time has come for Africans to know that without integrating, we are going nowhere. Integration will help us to do business among ourselves. Look, recently, President Museveni has said that Uganda was removed from AGOA. So just imagine Uganda was removed from AGOA. So where are you going to sell your products? Where are you going to sell your product if we are not integrated? So I think integration is very, very, very important to us, the people of Africa, in order to acquire markets. We have been made into division. We know that when the colonizers came to Africa, they divided Africa into these small countries, into Francophone, Anglophone, Lusophone, something like that. And we have Commonwealth right now. We are divided in such a way. Also, they imposed languages. You see? They imposed languages. Just imagine, for instance, if you go to Mozambique are speaking Portuguese. People in Mozambique are speaking Portuguese. If you go to the neighboring country, maybe Zimbabwe or Botswana, these are neighboring countries, they're speaking English. You see? So it is difficult if you go to the neighboring country of Tanzania, maybe. These are countries that are neighboring. They're speaking Swahili. So it is difficult for Tanzanian to interact with the people in Mozambique because their languages are differences. They're speaking different languages. So you have to learn first of all. And remember that we have our own native language within our countries. If you go to Mozambique, they have their own local language. Despite of this, what we call national language. These national languages are created by colonial masters. These are colonial languages. If you find that there's national language, many national languages in our continent are colonial languages, whether it is English or Portuguese or Spanish or French. These are colonial, or Arab. All these are colonial languages. But we have our own native languages, or what we call local languages. So someone is speaking maybe local language. So you force him to learn Portuguese. Then you force him to learn English. Then you force him to learn Swahili. Then you force him to learn France. It will be difficult. So let us allow Africans to come together, to speak with one voice, and that will be easy if we can collapse these borders. These borders were imposed by colonizers purposely, not for the benefit of Africans. These borders were imposed on us for the benefit of those colonizers. So we need to collapse these borders while we are talking about integration. We cannot integrate with these borders. And we know, all of us, that many of our peoples are not rich enough. They don't have this, what we call money. They are rich in terms of resources, but they don't have money. So it is difficult to find that some people from Mozambique is doing business in Nigeria. It is difficult, but it will be easier for people in Mozambique to do business in Zimbabwe, because it is the neighboring countries. It is difficult to find that a Tanzanian is doing business in Senegal. Let us be realistic. It is difficult, but it is very easy to find Tanzanian doing business in Uganda. The same to Ugandan. It is very easy to find Ugandan doing business in Kenya. But it is difficult to find Ugandan doing business in Mauritania. It is difficult. If we can collapse these borders, people can start moving from country A to country B, country C, something like that. These borders are not healthy for integration. Our leaders are speaking about integration, but let me tell you, dear lovely Africans, brothers and sisters, no any kind of good speech will bring Africans together. No any kind of good speech or speeches will unite Africa. Africans will unite or will integrate if we collapse these borders. That is what I see. That is what I see in Africa. So we need to collapse these borders for us Africans to do business among ourselves. We have seen President Museveni talking about growing of economy without it depending on others. So how can we grow economy? You are producing goods. You have already suspended in AGOA. So where are you going to sell a product? Maybe you have been producing more goods to sell in AGOA. So now you have been suspended in AGOA. Where are you going to sell those products? So we need to have integration among ourselves. The continental free trade area will give meanings to Africans if we collapse these borders. You know, when we say about collapsing borders, sometimes it is difficult because our leaders think about losing territories, losing power. You can remain with your president, your territory as a province. Let us allow people to move from one place to another. Remove these visas, these restrictions. Allow people. You know, in Africa, you wonder, when people, you ask people about borderless continent, and I see even in South Africa, they say people will come and take our jobs. Yes, people are coming to take your jobs because we are not organized. If we can create economic hubs, people will be divided to go somewhere, and some people will go somewhere. So right now, people are looking South Africa maybe as an opportunity. But if we can develop East Africa as economic hub, if we can develop maybe Central Africa as another economic hub, people will not move only in one side. So, and those people who are saying people are coming to us, I think it's because of these colonial minds. We are Africans. Let us not see Africans as enemies. And we are seeing each other as enemies. That's why we fear even to open borders. But it's very easy to find the Chinese. Right now, I saw Chinese in rural areas in your mother continent, Africa. I see Europeans in rural areas. They are growing crops, Chinese. If you go to the cities, to the township, you find Chinese selling small things that can be sold by Africans. But it is difficult for Africans to go to another country, to move from country A to do business in country B. They will face consequences. Africans, we don't love each other. Let us stop those self-hate. Let us love one another. I hope if we can love one another, we'll collapse these borders. Because these borders were imposed by colonizers. Colonizers are those who put these borders to divide us because they didn't love us. But we are still keeping these borders for the interest of our colonial masters. So we have to change. And this generation, we have to do something positive about these borders. We have to remove these borders to allow Africans to move from one place to another. As I said, when you talk about borderless continent, people are not happy with this statement because we hate each other. We don't love one another. So you don't like me to come to your country. That's why you are not happy with borderless continent. But you like Chinese to come to your country because you have been taught in schools that Chinese are investors. You have been told that white people are investors. They're coming to create jobs. But you Africans are not coming to create jobs. You are not giving Africans opportunities to create jobs. So that's why I'm saying we need to do something this generation. Maybe it's not accomplished during our lifetime, but we have to do something. Maybe the coming generation will fulfill what we are starting. But all in all, dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans have spoken many things. Let us stop here, have many things to share with you. But all in all, let us now see and hear from you. What is your perspectives? What is your opinions? What can we do to achieve integration, and what can we do to make sure that Africa is going to learn its economy without depending on others? And what can we do to have a good governance despite of this governance that have been imposed on us? Up to that, my dear lovely family, friends, fellow Africans, have a nice time. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Africa. Mama Africa, oh, yeah. You make Africa great. Thank you, Africa. Thank you, Africa.